Hey everybody, this is Perch. I'm trying to do something when I'm recording in the car where I don't kind of launch in with a louder voice. I can only imagine the videos that get recorded this way. You know, the video starts and suddenly there's like this screaming audio coming out. I don't know. Believe it or not, this isn't a complete segue from what this video is about. It is all kind of related. I want to be clear with something. I take this channel and the videos I do, I take it seriously and not seriously at the same time. And I want to explain why, because it's going to feed into this comic discussion we're about to have. To me, this is, like I've said before, this is like chat in a comic shop. That's what this is. It's having conversations with people. They're not meant to be big, bold proclamations that must stand the entire length of time. I think too many people on the internet get hung up with stuff like that, where it's like, this statement must endure 2 decades worth of scrutiny. It's like we're just having casual conversations. I make mistakes. One of the ways I poke fun at my own mistakes and kind of this long standing kind of running bit that I think only I'm amused by at this point is mispronouncing creators' names. It's not meant to be disrespectful. It's in many cases I'm remembering how customers come in and they'll say things like, do you have any books by that Brian Venus guy? And I'm like, nah, that's not correct. So I part of it's me like longingly remembering back in the coffee shop, because if you've been listening to my channel for a long time, you'll notice that the very early videos back when I was still in a shop, before all this is shut down and in the this process of moving things over, you'll notice the names are pronounced more correctly, and now it's like this reminiscing part of it. But I don't take all this that seriously. I mean what I say, and I try and put some numbers forward and give you some analysis and all the rest, but it's meant to be lighthearted. I do think from time to time that, maybe a different avenue for this channel, and maybe this is something I have to consider, so you can let me know in the comments below, is, doing a lot less videos, doing like, one or two a week, but then putting a lot more time into them. The kind of production quality that is in the numbers videos. It's funny that people look at the numbers videos like, wow, this looks really great. And then I go over to one of your other videos and it looks like ass. What happened? It's like, well, you know, the one video we're using charts and graphs, the other is me talking while I'm driving. So that's what's going on. But enough people have said over the years that they just like having this conversation. It's comforting to them on some level. And at the end of the day, I just want to have conversations like I'm in a comic shop. So that's kind of how I've looked at all this. But the other piece that I try not to do on this channel is I'm not giving you necessarily my opinion on things. I'm giving you my analysis on things, but I don't talk a lot about things I enjoy. And a couple of you have asked for that, and so every now and then I kind of poke at it. Um, some of this might surprise you, because I do think that if you're out here and you're trying to do commentary and you're trying to do analysis, I think you need to take yourself out of it. This is one of the things that bugs me about the current culture war and about the news and the media and everything else is too much of it is kind of described through the filter of the person talking to you. And I guess that's fine if it's a commentary show. I mean, if you tune into Bill O'Reilly, or I guess you tune into Tucker Carlson, for example, on Fox, you're getting Tucker Carlson's view on the news. And I think that's you may love him, you may hate him, but you are getting what is advertised. You're getting his perspective. You're tuning into the Tucker Carlson show. You're not tuning into here are some news headlines. And I think that's fair game. Same thing with CNN and all the rest. But increasingly, I get frustrated with the news and media and comic media for sure, because it's going through a filter. We're hearing too much about the person. And so I see people in the comments from time to saying, oh, Perch doesn't believe in the culture war, or Perch doesn't believe in these social changes going on and all this other stuff. No, quite the contrary. I do believe in it, and I want this channel to be a place where you're not getting that. The ownership is on you. You have to decide what kind of cultural bend you want to put on it. I'm telling you, and by the way, this isn't to say other channels that don't do that or are doing it wrong. It's up to them. It's up to whatever the channel is. In terms of putting out a product, meaning the videos here, that are unique and give people something new. One of the new things I'm trying to give that I don't see a lot of other places is this is just the data. You get to decide if this is an example of the culture war or not. It's up to you. You get to decide. I'm outsourcing that job to you because I think you're perfectly capable of figuring that out for yourself. You don't need me telling you. something is woke or not woke or anything else. It's the data. I did this video on the new Mr. Miracle comic, and it was a good one because I didn't realize this when I was doing it. But one of the immediate kind of anger points from people was, oh, well, great, they've race swapped Mr. Miracle with this new black character. Who is this new black character? It's like, well, no, actually, this black character was introduced in the 70s and has been Mr. Miracle for a very long time. There's a whole backstory. But it was really clear because I mentioned that within 60 seconds of the video, and yet still a lot of people came in voicing that same thing. There were these comments like, oh, so we get a brand new black character. It's like, you didn't listen to the video. You just looked at the thumbnail and the headline. And I'm in this constant almost battle with myself because this is the weird person I am, where I want to continue to try and figure out ways, how can I get the information into the first 2 seconds? So people, hopefully at least are listening to that much. But at any rate, I think that it's I just want us to be dealing with the same facts. Now, I do think everybody should have their own opinions, their own things they like or dislike, or what they do with those facts. That is up to you. And I think that individualism is a good thing. I think I want to see people with consistent facts and different opinions, rather than a lot of what we have today, which is the same opinions, random facts. That's what bugs me. And I think that's the big problem when you get to two extremes. There's people have dubbed it the Perch take. The extremes are typically made up of people who aren't interested particularly in the facts and just want to kind of hook on to an opinion and run with it. Is anything, I have this video, I don't know when this will go out to air versus other ones, but I expect a lot of irritation when this one goes out, which is basically, what do you mean exactly by this is a social justice comic, or this is a woke comic? Because that definition seems to be very random depending on who you talk to. But the outcome, comics are too woke, is the same. People say the same thing, but they're getting there with different facts. And I find that curious. I'd rather it be the opposite. That's just me. Now, your mileage may vary. There's plenty of people, you see them show up on other channels, particularly ones where people do videos making fun of me or saying I'm a jackass or whatever it happens to be. You're like, oh yeah, Perch guy's a douche. And, there's some people who want the rant. They're showing up for the entertainment and the show. And, hearing about facts is, God, who wants that? It's like going back to school. It's like zooming into a school meeting with your remote learning. Topical. Ugh. Anyway. I think we're better off. So that's why I don't give my opinions very much. If you want my opinions, rapid fire, I'm more of a Marvel guy than a DC guy. Historically, that's what I grew up on. That's what I like. I will say as a retailer, Marvel is way more irritating to deal with than DC for a million reasons. They're more snotty. They tend to forget things if they promise something and they change their mind on it. DC will typically make good on what they promised, and Marvel will typically say your problem. I've had some of the most nonsensical, terrible calls, emails, interactions as a retailer have been with Marvel. You cannot help but feel like they think you are less than them. That exudes out of every conversation you have, often as a retailer. In terms of the characters, I probably gravitate more toward Marvel. So that's weird. Even though they're being rude, I think I probably gravitate more. But at the same time, some of my fondest memories of characters probably come from DC. I really enjoyed the Doom Patrol thing. Talking with Richard Case was a dream come true. I think if I had Jim Shooter on the channel, and knock on wood, I hopefully will soon, looks promising, I want to talk to him about his Legion of Superheroes work before talking about the 80s Marvel work. There's lots of other people who've talked about that stuff. I want to talk about him writing Legion of Superheroes when he was 14. That's what fascinates me. But in general, though, there's comics for every company that are being produced that I enjoy. And what I do find is I enjoy independent comics these days probably more often than comics from the big two. And I think the reason is the big two seem creatively stuck. I don't think it's all, the wokeifying of the topics. I think they're not even great creative ideas. There's comics that they produce that, I don't think, in my definition anyway, I don't think they have any real social agenda to them. They're just boring. To me, that's what I'm finding more and more. On Twitter, I find a lot of the interaction between the creators just painful to look to. And when I say that, I don't mean like whether they're talking about politics or not. I'm just like the constant self congratulations, the weird circle jerk of, oh, this person's book's the best. Oh no, your book is the best. No, sir, your book is the best. And the reason why it irritates me, bluntly, is that I've been with a lot of these people in person, and they backstab each other constantly. Like the gossip and the this person's a jerk and that person's a jerk. It's so constant, and so the stuff comes off so phony in these. When they're on Twitter, they're all complimenting each other. It's like, okay, that's nice, but I was on a phone call with you like 2 weeks ago, and you are crapping all over that person. So it's just that's what always irks me about all of it. I don't get bothered by being blocked by creators. I really don't care. So many of them ran a block bot against someone that I was connected to at one point, and that wiped out a bunch of people for me. I think Tom King's a baby for, he blocked me because he liked a joke I told, and then he decided he didn't like it, so I got blocked. And but I don't miss it. Every now and then somebody sends me something. It's like, oh, I can't see that, so I'll just log into the store account. Oh, I see. They're being a douche again. That's how it comes across to me. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I think that this whole topic around blocking and creators and everything else. I think creators feel like they're like, haha, you can't see the huge amazing party that I've got going on over here. You're blocked. You can't see it. And the reality is, I don't want to be in that party. There's nothing in that party that interests me. I think Rainbow Rowell's work has been okay. I mean, I don't think her Runaways is very good, but it's not terrible. It's just kind of there. It's gotten worse. I think I was selling it and having a better time with it a few years ago, and now it seems to be kind of just. I just don't know what that title is doing. But at the same time, if I go to Twitter and I check out her feed and she's got like a 15 tweet thread on menstruation, I'd be like, I don't want to be part of that party. I don't care about that. I don't care that Mags is substituting photoshopping presidents' heads on modern people. None of this is. That's not interesting. Now that said, this is like I said, we're in my opinion land. You may like all these things, and cool. I don't. I hope you do. I hope somebody does. To me, the whole social media aspect side of the world just seems increasingly meaningless. And it's not just the videos I've done recently on the numbers and the conversation with Sean and all the rest. There's no point to it. People are going on, they're spending time, and they're getting likes, but the likes are even phony at this point. You see a tweet with some insane thing, and it's like 580 likes. I no longer believe any part of that number is legitimate on anything. It doesn't correlate to any sales. It doesn't correlate to any attention. It's like, oh, Danny Lore's on the Champions. It's like, oh my God, you're so brave. You're going to do an amazing job. Yeah, okay. But I'm pretty sure that issue 5 or 6 or whatever issue he's taking over on, I'm pretty sure it's going to sell under 15,000. And that's the thing about these numbers videos is like, here's where I want you to get. If you're watching these things and you're surprised, you're like, wow, I had no idea it was that high or that low. Before you start watching the video, write down what number you think it's going to be at. Just write down on a little piece of paper and then see if you're right. My goal here is that all of you watching these things are going to become perfect predictors, because once you've seen enough of it and once you kind of have a good sense of the industry, and this is most important, you're able to put whether you like or dislike the title on the shelf and just come into it with an open mind, I think you will be able to predict these things pretty easily, pretty constantly. I did that Squirrel Grow video. 0 parts of that were surprising, like none. That's exactly what I thought. And you could pretty much kind of go down the line. I've said this before. I'm going to do, as soon as the numbers come in reliable for everybody again, I'm going to do the solicits video for April. And then right after that, I'm going to do here's what they'll sell. And I'm just going to go down the line and then guess a number. And then 4 months later or whatever, when the numbers come out, we'll see how right I am. I'm willing to put, I don't know how you do this. I'm willing to put some serious money down that I'll be within 5% of the whole thing. And you can too. I don't. It doesn't take a genius. Once you kind of you see the trends and you kind of get a sense of it, you can pretty much count it. You predict it. But the biggest trap people fall into, this is a good place to kind of conclude the video, is they let their personal opinions get in the way of data, and that's the part. If nothing else, that's what I want to try and avoid or try and interrupt, because when you let your personal opinions conflict with data, then you're actually doing yourself a big disservice. You're shooting yourself in the foot. You're basically closing your mind to facts because your own biases are going to tilt you in a direction that is independent of reality. And when you do that, you're going to make worse decisions. You're going to have less of an impact on people. You're going to fail. And so you have to be able to recognize, I like something. Like, I personally, I've used this example a million times, but it's a good one. I like David Lynch. I like him as a director. I think he's great. Don't give David Lynch James Bond, or as somebody said in the comments, Transformers. Don't do that. You're gonna lose a lot of money, because as much as I like David Lynch, the masses do not. And even though deep down inside, I believe all the masses are stupid then and do not know good art and good taste when they have it, as evidenced by the popularity of Maroon 5, that doesn't really matter. What I think of other people's opinions really doesn't matter. Money is money, and it's going to flow where it's going to flow. So that's all that counts. Anyway, it's weird. A lot of you, like I said, you've asked for what I think about things. What are the comics I enjoy? I'll continue to tell you, but just please, let's keep this promise together. I'll give you the facts as best I have them. I'll give you the data, and you decide. If you listen to enough of me, you're like, I think I would agree with what he has to say. Then try it out. Like, I think Erratic is a great comic right now. You should be reading it. It's good. But if you, I will try and give you some data around, if you like Immortal Hulk, you may not like Erratic. They're very different books. If you like My Little Pony meets Transformers, you probably will not like Erratic. It's not going to work for you. But, if you like some of kind of some classic Spider-Man, I think it definitely has some of that feel to it. So, I mean, they're just we'll try and help you make the best decisions you can. I don't know what the point of this video is now. Right at the end, I've lost my own plot. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts. Like and subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Description of the video, blah, 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 blah. Thanks for listening.